ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश नम ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवे प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So welcome to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu seminar. Sorry, Harinamamrit. Harinam Chintamani seminars. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is also going on every Friday, Saturday. So just got confused. So yesterday we began with the discussion in the Sri Harinam Chintamani of how rasa is attained. We saw that there is Krishna is Nam Sarupa, Rupa Sarupa, Leela Sarupa, like that. And there is Bhakti Sarup also. The Bhakti Sarup is when the Ladini and the Samvit Shakti combine together in order to give Bhakti Shakti. And what is Bhakti Kriya? Kriya means the activities of devotional service. And when the bud of the holy name blossoms, then Bhakti Devi manifests the ingredients of rasa. So with this respect to ingredients, what are these ingredients? Bhaktivinoda Thakur starts discussing from text 28. So one is the Stahi Bhav, which is a permanent emotion of the devotee in relationship to Krishna. And then there are other bhavas which stimulate the Stahi Bhav, which combine, and all of them give rise to rasa. And these others are called as Samagri Bhav. So yesterday we saw Vibhav, and within Vibhav there is Vishayalambana, Ashayalambana. And there are secondary causes. And these secondary causes are called as Uddipan. The secondary causes of ecstatic love are called as Uddipans. So yesterday also some In the slides, we saw some of the Udipans in Sakyaras, in Vatsalyaras, and Madhuriras. We saw that. After the Udipan, the subsequent emotion following the Vibhav is Anubhav. Anubhav, as I was mentioning yesterday, is the voluntary actions which are expressing that love. And yesterday we saw the picture of Mother Yashoda opening her arms to embrace Krishna. The love which is there in the heart, the Vatsalya Prem, is manifesting through voluntary actions. So these are called as Anubhavas. So yesterday we saw the Anubhavas. So today we will start with text 32. There's only one verse which mentions the Sanchari Bhavas. Sanchari Bhava, O Satvik Mishre, Vibhava Kriya Kare, Stahi Bhava Ei Rasa Hoy. Activities in Vibhav mixed with Sanchari Bhav and Satviki Bhavs, constitutional or existential ecstasy. Existential ecstasy, not extension, existential ecstasy. The rasa of stahiba, fervent or continuous ecstasy. The rasa of stahiba. So here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you see, he is including within Sanchari Bhav the Satviki Bhavs. The Satviki Bhavas manifest in the Shuddha Sattva state. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryanshu Samya Bhak. In the Bhava Bhakti definition also, it is mentioned Shuddha Sattva. So from the Shuddha Sattva platform, that is the transcendental platform, the emotions of the soul manifest in the form of the Ashtasattvic Vikars in the body. But these emotions are springing from the soul directly because you are now on the transcendental platform, like hair standing on end and tears rolling from the eyes. So these emotions we also experience. The sattvic vikars we experience in this world, although we are not in Shuddha Sattva state. Just like out of fear, your hairs might stand out of on end. So these what are experienced, these are because of the material consciousness, when we are absorbed in the bodily consciousness. We see in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, when he saw the army on both the sides, all his own relatives, Tan Samiksha Kaunteha, Sarvan Bandhu Navastitan, Kripaya Paraya Vishto, Vishidantam Idam Abravit. And Arjuna started speaking, Vepatusha Sharire Me. No, this one. Drushtvaimam Swajanam Krishna Yuyutsam Samapastitam Siddhanti Mama Ghatrani Mukam Cha Parishushyate. Vepatusha Sharire Me Romaharshasya Jayate Ghandivam Samsrute Astad Vakchaiva Paridiyate. So you can see that Arjuna is also manifesting Ashtasattvic Vikars. Siddhanti Mama Gatra. Sorry. The limbs of my body are quivering. The mouth is drying up. And then in the next verse, this trembling of the body. This is also one Ashtasattvic Vikar. Roma Harshasya Jayate. The hairs are standing on end. And my Gandiva is slipping. Tvakchaiva Paridiyate. So Prabhupada explains there are two types of trembling of body and two kinds of standings of hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under material conditions. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Here there is Arjuna experiencing by Krishna's arrangement of Yoga Maya. He has been put in Maya so that Krishna can speak the Bhagavad Gita. So the Ashtasattvic Vikars which are manifested on the transcendental platform are because of great spiritual ecstasy. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He also became so impatient that his famous Gandiva bow was slipping from his hands, and because his heart was burning within, he was feeling a burning sensation in the skin. All these are due to material conception of life. So the point here is that these Ashtasattvic vikars, mm, one might experience because of material conditions and out of great spiritual ecstasy. The mind is a pivot between the soul and the body. In the bodily consciousness, out of fear, the mind goes through these emotions and they manifest on the body in the form of these transformations in the body. They are out of fear. But the same emotions, when they are springing from the soul, from the transcendental platform, they pass through the mind and manifest on the body like hair standing on end, but they are completely transcendental. So that's the difference between the two. We should understand it very carefully. So here, these Ashtasattvic vikars are not mentioned because they are involuntary emotions. That's why it is called as constitutional or existential ecstasy. Prabhupada, in his terminology in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, uses Ashtasattvic vikars as existential ecstasy. They are constitution to the soul. It's the soul's constitution to manifest these Ashtasattvic vikars. And this is not there in our hand. That is why they are called as involuntary emotions. Okay, let us see now the verse. Text 32. Sanchari satviki krame udita hoilo stahi bhava rasa hoy sarva shastra bale. In this way, Sanchari bhav and Satvika bhav gradually appear. So first there is Vibhav, and when Vibhav fully manifest, it was mentioned here, when Vibhav attains completeness, Anubhav is manifest. So after Anubhav, Sanchari bhav and Satvika bhav gradually appear. They gradually appear as as the rasa becomes more and more condensed and deep in the stages of bhava, they gradually appear. Then the rasa of stahi bhav is also manifested. This is said in all the scriptures. So there's a footnote 17. Here rasa may be compared to a machine. Stahi bhav is the axle. So Prabhupada Bhaktivinoda Thakur is giving a very practical example. In the machine, there is the axle. Without the axle, the machine won't function. So Sai Bhav is like the permanent emotion, which is the essential ingredient required. The bhavas beginning with Vibhav are the machinery. The other bhavas set Stahi Bhav into motion. Here, the lover, the devotee of Lord Krishna, is the taster of the nectar of rasa. So that's how Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives this example. So the Sanchari Bhavs, what are the Sanchari Bhavs? The Sanchari Bhavas are called as, Prabhupada uses the terminology, transient emotions. These are certain emotions which rise high in the ocean of Bhakti Ras. Just like in the ocean, sometimes there is high tide and the ocean waves go very high and they fall. So similarly, the Sanchari Bhavs are transient. They are not manifesting all the time. And they manifest, when they manifest, they rise very high and they fall down and further embellish the Stahi Bhav. They further embellish the Stahi Bhav. Now, to give an example for this, I'll give two examples, one from Krishna Lila and one from in our ordinary experience. I always give this example. If the mother who has love for the child is playing in the kitchen and mother is cooking, suddenly the child goes out of the door and there is a staircase and he falls. And the mother sees this and the child is rolling from the staircase, and then the mother runs, rushing towards the child, and immediately she picks the child, she hugs the child, she kisses the child. So because of this incident, suddenly there was a transient emotion, Sanchari Bhav. And this Sanchari Bhav, now the mother's affection and love for the child has heightened. So these Stahi Bhavs embellish the the Sanchari Bhavs embellish the Stahi Bhav. Another example from Krishna Lila is when Krishna was caught in the coils of Kaliya, slowly the news spread in Braj and everyone was rushing towards Yamuna. It first came to Nand Bhavan, the news, and Mother Yashoda and Nand Maharaj, they just ran towards Yamuna. And Mother Yashoda, seeing in the coils Krishna, his own son, in the coils of Kaliya, she was just about to collapse and give her life because her Stahi Bhav fully manifested her Vatsalya Bhav. And this emotion, because of Krishna being caught in the coils of Kaliya, is like the Sanchari Bhav, or the transient emotion. Now, after Nandgram is Barsana, so the news slowly went also to Barsana. And Krishna was still caught in the coils of Kaliya, and Mother Yashoda was collapsing. She was losing her consciousness. Balram was somehow holding her. But yet Krishna was not still about to come out from the Kaliya coils. But only when the news reached Barsana and all the gopis, and especially Srimati Radharani, came on that spot, and they are now Stahi Bhav. Their Stahi Bhav is that of Madhurya. Krishna, they see him as a lover. So that also went to an height. Now Krishna said, that's too much. And he came out of the calls of Kaliya, and then he started dancing on the hoods of Kaliya to give pleasure to Srimati Radharani. So this is how in Krishna Lila, the Sanchari Bhavs go to a very high height and they fall in the ocean of the Bhakti Ras. They embellish the Stahi Bhav. So here the ocean is the Stahi Bhav, Vatsalya or Madhurya, and the waves are the Sanchari Bhavas. So is it clear about the Stahi Bhav, about the Sanchari Bhav and the Satvika Bhav? Anyone has any questions? Any questions, any clarifications? Yes.
So Sanchari Bhav, Prabhuji, is the expression of the emotions?
No, Sanchari Bhav is not expression of the emotions. Sanchari Bhavas are waves which come in the ocean of Bhakti Ras. They come as wave and they embellish the Stahi Bhav emotion. They further, they intensify the Stahi Bhav. They intensify the Stahi Bhav. Just like I was giving this example, when the child rolls from the floor on the steps, the mothers suddenly, because of this incident, the Sanchari Bhav has manifested in her heart. Oh my child, what happened to you? And she rushes. Her Vatsalya emotion now is gone to an height. And then her affection for the child, has increased. The Vatsalya Bhav has been embellished. The Vatsalya Bhav has been embellished. So are you getting exactly what is happening?
Yes, the intensity of the
intensity
bhav.
of the Vatsalya Bhav has been increased because of these Sanchari Bhavs. And this is not happening all the time. All the time, the Sanchari Bhavs don't manifest. Certain points they manifest in order to embellish the Stahi Bhav. Like, all the time there is no high waves in the ocean. Sometimes they happen on a full moon night or a no moon night, like that. So similarly, certain incidents in the Leela of Krishna, like Krishna caught in the coils of Kaliya, Mother's Vatsalya Bhav is overflowing and she's losing her consciousness, she's collapsing. So her Vatsalya Prem has heightened because of the transient emotions with respect to the object of the love. I hope it is clear.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Satanand Chaitanya Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Dhanavad Pranam.
Yes.
I was just trying to recollect if is there any incident where the sthai bhav of dasya comes in that sanchari bhav stage.
Stahi, okay, in the Dasya Bhav, the Sanchari Bhavs manifesting. Okay, I can think of one incident. Basically, Krishna's friends have Sakya Ras with Krishna. But there are also some Gopals who have a more Dasya Bhav towards Krishna also. Their prominent emotion is Dasya. So they help Mother Yashoda in dressing Krishna. Although they are friends of Krishna, but again, there is no deep intimacy in the form of Sakyaras. There is more of a servitude towards Krishna. So they have this Dasya Bhav. And the friends of Krishna like Sridhama and Sudhama, they consider Krishna as equal. They also serve Krishna because they also have Das, but the Sakyaras is very prominent where they can climb on Krishna, play with Krishna. So I don't know whether this is a true incident in Krishna Lila based on the science of Rasa, but you can give this an example when Agasur opened his mouth and the Gopas were entering. So there, Krishna is experiencing Sanchari Bhavs also. Oh, what will happen to my friends? They don't know where they are entering. They are entering actually the mouth of Agasur. Or when Krishna was about to kill Bakasur, actually he split the beak of Bakasur. Not Bakasur, sorry, what is it? Asura who came in the form of crane. It is Bakasur, I think. Yes, it is Bakasur. Baki. Bakasur only, no? What is that Asura called who came in the form of crane? I think it is Bakasur. Anyone knows? Anyone remembers? Anyway, Bakasur. Yes, it is Bakasur. Yeah. So initially, when the crane, huge crane, was making sound, Krishna's friends were relishing, but when he flew and came down, it immediately swallowed Krishna. So when it swallowed Krishna, some who are in Dasyaras, they might have an emotion, the transient emotion might raise very high. Oh, what happened to our Krishna, our master? Krishna's friends also might be having these transient emotions, but there is more still intimacy. There is more love. So they feel more separation. And then Krishna went inside and started expanding in the throat. There was so much heat, he could not tolerate it. And he vomited it out. Krishna came out and then he split the beak of Bakasura and killed him. So like that, these emotions are happening and in Krishna Lila also. So like that, these transient emotions embellish the Stahi Bhav of a Dasya Rasa Rati devotee or a Sakya Rati devotee. Is it clear, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Okay. So sanchari bhav is basically to enhance the loving relationship.
Stahi Bhav.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, it is Bakasura. Okay. So now let us take text 33 to 38. Now, after giving this, rasa, which is pure nectar, which is eternal, we are experiencing these rasas in this world in the form of perverted relationships in, the boy and the girl or husband and wife, two friends. But these emotions are not steady between the lover and beloved because they can suddenly turn into Raudra Ras, and the lover can kill the beloved also. We know that. Or two friends who are relishing Sakya Ras, friendship, they both can fight and there is cut of friendship. All this happens, we have seen in this. These are perverted rasas here. And these are not eternal. But these original rasas of the soul in relation to Supreme Soul are eternal. And they ever keep on expanding. So after knowing these rasas and the ingredients of rasas, how many would like to attain this rasa in relationship with Krishna? How many would like to attain it? And ever become free from the material anxieties of this material world? How many would like to attain it? One, two. No, others don't want to attend it. I'll have to ask, what is the reason? Okay, Vikram Prabhuji, you are there?
Don't know, Prabhuji. I just went inside to pick a glass of water. I didn't hear what was the thing, Prabhuji.
After understanding these eternal spiritual rasas in relationship to Krishna, how many would like to attain it?
Probably everyone, Prabhuji.
Yes, okay. So then what is the price you'll have to pay for it? Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak in the next verses. Taha, Paidar, Brahma, the sequence of attaining them. What is the sequence? Sai Rasa Sarvasar, Siddhi Sar Jani, Parama Purusha Artha, Sharva Shastramani. I know that this rasa is this highest perfection, the best of all. I know all the scriptures say that this rasa is the highest goal. To attain rasa with Krishna is the highest goal. 18 footnote. Of all rasas, the rasas of Raj is the highest. So there is also in Vaikuntha rasa. In Vaikuntha, I told you there are only 2.5 rasas manifest. There is Shant rasa, there is Dasya ras, and little bit of friendship, which is also called as Gaurav Sakya ras. Gaurav means there is still a lot of Gaurav to the Lord. Oh, he's Narayan, he's Swami. So there is no deep intimacy and friendship. Nobody climbs on the shoulders of Narayan in Vaikuntha. So there is Vaikuntha ras and there is Golok ras. So between the two, which is another dham where the rasa is still more manifested compared to Vaikuntha? Anyone knows? Can raise their hands. Anyone knows? Can raise their hands. Between Vaikuntha and Golok, in between there is another dham where the rasa is still more manifest. Yes, Amal Bhakti Rani Mataji.
Between Goloka and Vaikuntha, you're saying, Prabhuji?
Yeah, between Vaikuntha and Golok. In Vaikuntha, there is 2.5 rasas. In Golok, all the rasas are fully manifest. But in between, there is another abode where the rasas are still more, a little more, compared to Vaikuntha, it is manifest. In Vaikuntha, there is only 2.5 rasas, I mentioned.
No idea, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Satanand Chaitanya Prabhu has some idea. Let us hear from him. Yes.
Harishno, just a try. Is it Ayodhya?
Yes, it is Ayodhya Dham. It is Ayodhya Dham. That's why if you see the Golok chart picture, between the Vaikuntha and Golok, there is Ayodhya Dham. So which is the rasa manifest there?
So that I don't know.
Okay, there is rasa between Sita and Ram. It is more a little intimate. There is Madhurya manifestation of rasa within the wedded love. That's why Lord Ram is, Maryada Purushottam. He is Ek Patni Vrat Dharan. He has taken a vow only to marry one wife. So there is the wedded love there. And also, Dasya, Hanuman is in Dasyaras, there is a little bit friendship, more friendship with Lord Ram. But even if you see Hanuman, when Lord Ram was extremely pleased when he found out the whereabouts of Sita and he came and informed, Lord Ram was so satisfied that he hugged Hanuman. And that's the only picture you can see in the Ramayana series of pictures. But Hanuman was feeling so awkward that he just wanted to come out of the embrace of Lord Ram. Because my position is in the lotus feet of Lord Ram in Dasiras. This kind of intimate exchange, even he could not handle it, and he wanted to come out of the embrace of Lord Ram. So you can understand, what is Golok Ras, where there is no no knowledge that Krishna is God. Krishna is my friend. Krishna is my lover. Krishna is my son. So such deep, intimate, loving reciprocations exist in Golok. But Hanuman, could not handle it. That Lord Ram embraced me. So only one time it happened, this incident, and Hanuman was feeling very awkward about it. Another thing I would like to explain with the science of rasa, there are two personalities in the Chaitanya Leela. Personalities or one? Yeah, two personalities who were more in Dasiras. And, there is in the 10th chapter of the Madhya Leela, the Adi Leela, the tree of Lord Chaitanya, where how Lord Chaitanya is a trunk, then one branch is Advaita Acharya, one branch is Nityananda Prabhu, and further how this tree has expanded through their preaching, and everyone is being invited to, get connected to this Golokras. But two of the personal associates in Lord Chaitanya Leela, they are not part of the parampara, like that. They are not the branch or the sub branch. Who are the two personalities? Anyone knows? Can raise your hands. Anyone knows? Try out. Yes. Kamal Bhakta Rani Mataji.
Just trying, Prabhuji. Is it Ramanand Rai?
No, Ramanand Rai is the topmost. He is
Yes, topmost.
of the highest of rasas. Anyone else can try? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I'll just try. One is Murari Gupta.
Excellent, because Murari Gupta is an incarnation of Hanuman.
Yes.
Yes. Another one?
Another one, I don't know, Prabhuji.
Okay. Another one is, who is the incarnation of Prahlad in Chaitanya Leela? Who is the incarnation of Prahlad in Chaitanya Leela? Anyone knows? I also don't remember. It is, I think, not able to recollect the name. It's Vasudev Datta. Vasudev Datta. I think it is Vasudev Datta. I'll have to reconfirm, but right now, as far my memory is going, it mentions it is like Vasudev Datta. So both these branches are not there in the tree, the tree manifested by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why they are not there? Because Mahaprabhu has come to give us Golok Ras. And these personalities, Murari Gupta or Vasudev Datta, they are more in Murari Gupta is Dasiras and Prahlad is more Shantras, in fact. It is Shantras. So, but he has come to give Golok Ras, Mahaprabhu. So that's why their branches are not included. They did not actually propagate and make disciples and preach Mahaprabhu's cult. They only participated in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. See, these are some confidential secrets about the science of rasa. Okay. It's the highest rasa and the highest goal of life. Rasam hi evamyam labdva anandi bhavati. In the Taittiriya Upanishads also it is mentioned. Raso vaisaha. Raso vai, the Lord is rasa. And when the jiva attains rasa with the Lord, then he becomes anand. Then he becomes happy, bliss. He experiences ecstasy. Okay, next verse, 34. Bhaktya unmukha jiva shuddha gurura kripaya Shri Yugala Brahmanama Saubhagyate Paya. So how we can now attain this rasa? What is the sequence? He is now, first of all, he is saying that this rasa is the highest, especially the Golok rasa. Okay, I was reading the footnote. I forgot about that highest Braja ras. There is Ayodhya ras and then Golok ras. They are the highest goal of the life of for the individual spirit souls. The four traditional goals of life are piety, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. The four goals of life eventually lead to rasa, which is the highest goal of life. A person who is completely liberated is eligible to taste rasa. So even I told you at the stage of bhava, one becomes fully liberated from material existence, and then rasa, a life of rasa begins. So we'll go to 34. Bhaktya unmukha jiva shuddha gurura kripaya Shri Yugala Brahma Nama Saubhagyate Paya. By the mercy of the pure devotee, Bhakta Kripa, that is spiritual master, a Shuddha Guru, a soul eager for devotional service, attains the good fortune, Saubhagyate, of chanting the spiritual names of the divine couple. So we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So where is the divine couple here? Anyone knows? Where is the divine couple here in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Yes.
Hare is Radha Rani and Krishna is Vishnu. Hare Krishna.
And then Rama. Rama is actually Radhika Raman. That's an explanation given of the Mahamantra meaning by various acharyas. Prabhupada kept it very simple. Oh Radha and Krishna, please engage me in your service. Basic that understanding has to first come. Chanting the names of the divine couples. And there's a footnote again here. Of the souls who have turned their faces towards Krishna, if you remember, there is Nitya Mukta Jivas and Baddha. And within Baddha, those have turned their face towards Krishna and those who have turned their face away from Krishna. Bahirmukh and Antarmukh. Those who have turned their face towards Krishna, they do sadhu sang and take up to spiritual practices of chanting of the holy names, and ultimately they can also get liberated. So those who have turned their face towards Lord Krishna, those souls who are eager to engage in devotional service are the best. They are the best. So those among Gyanis, Karmis, those who are taken up to the path of bhakti, they are the best. By the power of many, many past pious deeds, these souls walk on the path of devotional service. When faith arises within them, they attain a saintly, pure devotee spiritual master, Shuddha Sadhu Guru. By the spiritual master's mercy, they become engaged in the chanting of the Mahamantra, which consists of the holy names of the divine couple. So there are again some subtleties in this discussion, but I will keep it simple right for now. When our Shraddha becomes very pure or it is 100%, then we fully surrender to Krishna and take shelter of a Shuddha Sadhu Guru and execute pure devotional service, that is Ananya Bhakti. Before that stage, our faith is not fully there. Because if we have full faith, then we will give up everything. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. We'll give up everything and fully surrender to the Lord and do no other business except how I can get to Krishna Prem, and we are constantly engaged in bhajan. So we are, chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles. That's not the criteria. Here, the criteria is when we have full faith and will fully surrender to Krishna, and that is a very elevated platform in one sense. So that, is a just idea I'm giving here, that we should not think that, we are having that full faith and we have taken, even though we are chanting 16 rounds following the four principles, we have taken shelter of the spiritual master. And by regularly hearing the philosophy, all our doubts are becoming cleared. And when all the doubts and different conceptions, wrong conceptions which we have are all eliminated, then what happens is our faith becomes very, very strong. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krit Hoye. I just have to do Krishna Bhakti and everything else is taken care. So this kind of faith is a very, very exalted level of faith. And you give up all other things and just execute bhajan. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is going to speak about it, what he does when he has this kind of faith. Tulsi Malaya Nama Sankhya Kari Smare Athava Kirtan Kare Parama Adare. He chants a prescribed number of holy names on Tulsi beads, or he does Kirtan with great love and respect. Kare Parama Adare. Very, very important here. This is again a footnote. When faith first arises, materialism may be an obstacle. So still you can see how we don't have full faith, because our consciousness is still absorbed in materialism. Our consciousness goes towards materialism. And our consciousness is not fixed in Ananya Bhajan, as many times in the Gita Krishna speaks, Ananya Cheta Satatam, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam. Many times Krishna speaks about this in few verses of Gita. The spiritual master therefore gives the activity of sadhana bhakti, devotional service and practice, so that the disciple may overcome this obstacle and chant the holy name. The disciple may chant a fixed number of holy names on Tulsi beads, or he may worship the holy name in Kirtan. This worship of the holy name is the root of attaining all that is good. After a short time, with single pointed concentration, the disciple chants the holy name in a secluded place. Now here you can see his bhajan has got intensified now, because materialism was initially an obstacle. That's why he started practicing sadhana bhakti. And when he gets ekagrata means one pointed concentration. His concentration never drifts away from while chanting the holy name. This requires the mode of goodness. And it takes many years for us to become free from the modes of passion and ignorance and come to this mode of goodness. Gradually, he increases the number of holy names he chants until he spends all his time chanting. So what is the adhikar? What is Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaking? 24 hours chanting. All the time. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavata namasyante tu mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. All the time you're chanting. Then the obstacle of materialism will wither away. So here you can mark this point. When you satatam kirtayanto mam you start doing, then the obstacles of materialism will wither away. Just not by chanting 16 rounds, all your obstacles will go away. The anartha nivritti will not happen. That is inevitable. Bhakti sadhana, devotional service and practice, is of two kinds. Activities of deity worship, archana, and activities of chanting and meditation, smaran kirtan. Both are good, but activities of chanting and meditation are more powerful and able to bring one to pure devotional service. So in our bhajan, we go into deep meditation and deeply being absorbed in our chanting. That is more powerful compared to archana. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, even in Bhajan Rahasya, makes this point that it is good to engage in deity worship to become free from the modes of passion and ignorance. But even while doing the deity worship, one is conscious of the body. But in chanting, especially doing bhajan, one can transcend this, even the bodily consciousness, when being absorbed in chanting the holy names. One can transcend that. So that is why he's saying chanting and meditation is more powerful and is able to bring one to pure devotional service. Many great souls meditated on the fixed number of the holy names on japa beads and also loudly chanted the holy name in kirtan a fixed number of times. While chanting kirtan, one simultaneously performs chanting, hearing, and meditation. So he is mentioning that one should chant prescribed number of holy names and also do kirtan, continuous, satatam kirtayanto mam. Then the anarth nivritti will happen, and then you will go towards the goal of attaining the stage of nishtha, and then following nishtha, Ruchi Asakti Bhava will manifest. Now, what is the prescribed number? He is giving the number now. Eka Grantha Sankhya Kari Arambibe Nam Krame Tina Lakshasmari Pure Manakshama. He begins by chanting one Grantha. And we have explained all this, if you remember, in the 12th chapter. One Grantha is 4 rounds of holy names. Gradually, he comes to chant 3 lakh holy names, that is 192 rounds. Then all the desires of his heart become fulfilled. So the desire is to attain Krishna Prem. That is the main desire, not material desires. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if you see in the Sri Harinam Chintamani, repeatedly, many times he has given this instruction of coming to chant 192 rounds. Now we might say, oh, that's too much. I'm not going to do it. But let us begin step by step. If you remember, we spoke about the Utsa technique. In the Utsa technique, you have to concentrate in hearing one mantra attentively and thereby chant one attentive round and build a block of 4 attentive rounds. That is one Grantha. Grantha or Granthi, there is Hriday Granthi which has been spoken, the hard knots of the heart, Karma Granthi. So one Granthi, if you chant, one knot is cut, Karma Granthi is cut. So when you build a block of 4 attentive rounds without any distraction, especially not keeping the mobile near you while chanting, full focus and attention, and our attention doesn't go anywhere else. I have spoken this in the 12th chapter quite in detail. Each class we have, one class we have spoken about how to practice this Utsa technique. So after this, you build on another 4 blocks, 2 Granthas. Then that will be 8 rounds. Then build on 3, 12 rounds. Build on 4, 16 rounds. So Prabhupada speaks about chanting 16 good rounds. So what does 16 good rounds mean? It means 16 attentive rounds. Once you are able to do that, then try to attend a lot of holy retreat seminars where you can chant 64 rounds, or on Ekadasis or on festivals, try to sit in a secluded place and try to chant more number of rounds. So as you do this more 64 rounds chanting, then 16 rounds is an easy task to concentrate. So that's how at least we have to come to this level of 64 rounds chanting. 192 is looks like impossible for us. But as you get taste, or you can think of Kartik, I will come to the Holy Dham, not visit any places in the Holy Dham, but I'll sit in some secluded place for 5 days and just chant 64 rounds. But we are Bahirmukha. We want to go and see these holy places. What we can see with our eyes, these holy places, they are completely spiritual and our eyes are covered with the layer of Maya. Better to go to the holy dhams, sit few days in some secluded place and just absorb ourselves in chanting. Then the holy dham will reveal us through spiritual vision that everything is Chintamani and spiritual. So this at least we should do, and slowly, then the rounds will increase in some special occasions like Haridas Thakur's appearance day or on the Pandav Nirjal Ekadasi, like that. But at least we have to come to the standard of 64 rounds regularly, especially at least on Ekadasi and on festivals and like that. Once you get the taste, it will happen then automatically. 64 rounds is effortless, you'll feel. But now 16 rounds, we feel like climbing the Himalaya because our consciousness is always going here and there. We are trying to fix our consciousness in the holy name, and all our efforts are going in that. That's why we get tired. Okay. Sankhya madhye kichunam karibe kirtan tate sarvendriyas purite ananda nartan. One should chant the holy name a fixed number of times. Then the holy name blissfully dances on one's tongue. Prabhupada speaks about this in 12.8 of the Gita. Let me show you this, because then you will clearly have an idea. Prabhupada is speaking in the Gita itself this. Mayeva mana adhastva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivashasya mam eva. Please do ask questions by raising your hands. Don't type on the chat box. If there is any disturbance with the sound, then only use the chat box. Okay. Nivashyasi mam eva ata urdvam na samshaya. Just fix your mind upon me, the personality of God. Engage all your intelligence in me. That means constantly is able to remember Krishna. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So Prabhupada says, when one is engaged in Lord Krishna's devotional service lives in the direct relationship with the Supreme Lord, so there is no doubt that his position is transcendent from the very. A devotee does not live on the material plane, he lives in Krishna. The holy name of the Lord and the Lord are non-different. Therefore, when a devotee chants Hare Krishna, Krishna and his internal potency are dancing on the tongue of the devotee. When he offers Krishna food, Krishna directly accepts these eatables, and the devotee becomes Krishnazized by eating the remnants. One who does not engage in such service cannot understand how this is so. Although this is a process recommended in the Bhagavad Gita and all the Vedas. So you can understand what is this level of devotion. It's really pure devotion. And Krishna is directly accepting whenever you offer a pure devotee. When Madhvendra Puri did the festival here after installing the Gopal deity, when he used to offer Madhvendra Puri, because he had spiritual union, he was seeing how Krishna was accepting the offering and having it. He was able to see that. Prabhupada explains in the purport. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking here. That the holy name blissfully dances on all one's senses. Name navavidhi anga karaya ashray tatapi kirtan smriti sarvashreshta hoy. The 9 processes of devotional service take shelter of the holy name. Still, chanting and remembering the holy name is the best of all. Tara madhe sarvashresht, nama sankirtan, niraprada namalay, paye premadan. So that is also spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So any questions or clarifications up till now, what we discussed? Okay. Yes, Vikram Prabhuji.
That is wrong, Prabhuji. My doubt is from the previous verses. From Ayodhya Dham and the Golok Dham, there is only difference of Sakya Ras is missing in Ayodhya Dham. So is it true? There is no Sakya Ras in Ayodhya Dham.
No, there is Sakya, there is friendship, a little more closer. The rasa is slowly getting evolved from Vaikunta to Golok, and in between is Ayodhya. So I told there is 2.5 rasas. There is Madhuri Ras also in Vaikunta, but it is Lakshmi just serves Lord Narayan's lotus feet. And Lakshmi is not always with Narayan there. She is, if you see, go to Sri Vaishnava temples in South India, there is a Narayan temple separate, the Lakshmi temple is separate. They are not together. Whereas we see Radha and Krishna together always in our temples. So there is no much intimacy even in Madhurya Ras there between Lakshmi and Narayan. There is a lot of disturbance there. There is no much intimacy there. So rasa is evolving. That's the point. From Vaikuntha to Golok and deeper intimacy which manifest in Golok Vrindavan. Okay. Any other questions regarding this aspect? What we discussed? How Kramena we can attain? Yes, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I heard from some lecture that Ram couldn't experience the closeness of friendship playing with them. That is how then he misses that Sakya rest. That is how he gets fulfilled when he takes Krishna avatar.
Yes,
That is
that's what I told. The rasas are not fully manifest.
Evolving, yes, Prabhuji.
And only in the avatar Krishna these rasas can manifest.
And Prabhuji, there is one more verse from one of the senior Vaishnavas regarding the word Rama. It is the verse goes like this: Rakara Srimati Radha Mahakara Madhusudano Doyam Vikram Samyugat Rama Nama Iti Khila.
Now, where is this reference coming from? Which Shastra it is quoted? You have to tell me.
Exactly, I don't know. I had it from in one of the lectures.
No. See, you'll have to give a scriptural quotation for it, and then only we can speak about it.
Okay.
And as I was mentioning, the Dandakaranya rishis, when Lord Ram entered there, they wanted to have a conjugal love with Lord Ram. And Lord Ram understood it. He said, in this form, as Rama, the Rama is same as Krishna only. It's like a Vaidurya Mani. He can manifest Vara Rupa, he can manifest Rama Rupa, he can manifest different forms of Godhead. So Lord Ram understood the desire of Dandakaranya rishis, and he said, in the next incarnation, I will be able to fulfill your desire. So Lord Ram only said that. But in the form of Krishna, I can fulfill this desire. So that's why these Dandakaranya rishis were born as gopis in Krishna Lila, and they had conjugal love with Krishna. So like that, we have to understand it. Okay. Any other questions? About rasa is a very high subject, but let us come to how to get it. The procedure, how to chant attentively and increase our chanting. Unless we come to this Purva Shraddha and take up to Ananya Bhakti, where we are fully focusing on chanting the holy names and nothing else, and we are able to get taste in chanting and increasing our rounds, it's not possible. 16 rounds, today there's a misconception that if I just throughout my life chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles, I'll go to Golok. But that's what not the acharyas are saying. Any questions, clarifications? Okay. So then I will just take 2 more verses in the next section. In the next section from 39 to 40, 2 verses are there. Archana Marga o Shravan Kirtanara Adhikari Bheda Kriya Bheda. Different kinds of activities and different kinds of qualification for hearing and chanting and for deity worship. So there are different kinds of adhikars, and based on the adhikar, you can do those activities. Archana Margite Ghadatar Ruchi Andra Shravana Kirtana Siddhi Tahete Tahara. A person strongly attached to deity worship attains the results of hearing and chanting. Name Aikantiki Rati Hobe Yahara Shravana Kirtana Smriti Kevala Tahara. A person who has single-minded attraction for the holy name engages only in hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name. So here the point is, devotees should do this Pancharatriki Vidhi mark of engaging in deity worship. Ultimately, what is the fruit of that deity worship? One attains result in the form of hearing and chanting. And only by hearing and chanting, then one can remember the holy name and be completely attached to the holy name, chanting the holy names. So we have been given the Pancharatric Vidhi because our consciousness is absorbed in the modes of passion and ignorance. And slowly, by doing the deity worship, we can elevate our consciousness, come to the mode of goodness, and chant the holy names. That is the purpose. And all other things related to Archana or any other yagyas which we do, it should be accompanied by the chanting. Prabhupada, when his sannyas initiation ceremony was going on, the yagya was going on, Prabhupada told the other Gaudiya devotees who were sitting in the program, chant the holy name. When Prabhupada was installing Krishna Balram, although he had called the Vedic Brahmins to do the ceremony so that, they will accept it as bona fide, but Prabhupada told his devotees to accompany that with the kirtan. So ultimately, Naam is the topmost. So ultimately, the deity worship result is that we attain taste for hearing and chanting. And with that single pointed attraction for the holy name, Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran. These are Bhagavad Vidhi. And Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. These are the Pancharatriki Vidhi with respect to the deity worship. We offer Dandavats to the, we do Dandavats to the deity, we do Archana to the deity, we do Vandanam, glorify Govinda Madhi Purusham prayers, like that. So hearing, chanting, and remembering, these are the topmost processes. Shravan, Kirtan. And Shravan means to hear, Bhagavatam. Kirtan means to vibrate it. That means we hear, understand the philosophy, and preach. Then Smaran will happen. And only when you're constantly able to remember Krishna, then we can enter into Raganuga Bhakti with the purification of the heart. And then only we can attain Bhava. So that is why Bhaktivinoda Thakur is mentioning this here. Okay, now after mentioning that Shravan is the, Kirtan is the Krama or the path, now he will speak about the sequence in hearing, chanting, and remembering the holy name. So how systematically Bhaktivinoda Thakur is developing the subject. Okay, so any questions, any clarification anyone has? Up till now, what we discussed, we have come to text 40 now. Now he's going to explain the krama of Shravan, Kirtan, and Smaran. Systematically, how to attain that bhava, he's going to speak. And from here onwards, the discussion is going to be quite intense and deep. So we'll stop here then. Shri Harinam Chintamani ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna. Oh, there is one question. Yes, Mataji.
हरे कृष्णा, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी. एक्चुअली ये रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन नहीं है, इसलिए मैंने बाद में हैंड रेज किया. पूछ सकती हूँ?
Okay, once we'll just conclude our discussion then.